The desert at night doesn't echo, it absorbs. Even your own footsteps sound swallowed. Like the sand is tired of hearing people walk where they shouldn't. That's what Nora thought as she pulled over on Route 191, deep in the northern stretch of the Navajo Nation, where the road cuts through open mesas and black miles of nothing. Her rental Jeep's dashboard had been flashing red since the last gas station, low coolant, and the last pump she'd passed was coated in dust, so thick it looked fossilized. She told herself it was fine. NASA built the Perseverance rover for conditions like this. She just had to make it 20 more miles to the motel in Chinle. When steam began hissing from the hood, she knew the desert had made its decision. Nora stepped out into the chill and silence. She flicked her flashlight once, twice, and its beam stumbled over an endless plain of sagebrush and scattered rocks. The Milky Way arched high, sharp and white as powdered bone. Her phone showed no service. An hour of walking with no headlights on the horizon was enough to break something in her nerves. She started to hum, an absent little tune from childhood, something her mother used to sing when the house felt too quiet. That's when she heard another voice behind her. It wasn't an echo. It was someone humming the same tune. She froze. The wind had dropped entirely, the desert listening. Then, faint crunching steps, slow, deliberate, coming closer along the road. "Hey," she called, her voice cracking the stillness. "My car broke down. You headed to town?" The steps stopped. Then a voice answered, soft and dry as sandpaper. "Which town?" Her flashlight caught movement just ahead. A tall figure in jeans and a flannel shirt, features shadowed under the brim of a hat. His skin looked pale gray in the starlight, as if the color had been leached from it. Nora took a breath. "Chinle, my phone's dead. Can you give me a lift?" The figure smiled, just slightly. "You shouldn't walk this road at night. Things walk beside it." "I'll take my chances," she said, trying to sound like she didn't believe him. He nodded once, slow, as if agreeing with something else entirely. Then he said, "I can take you part way, if you don't mind riding in the back." That was when she saw his truck, an ancient Chevy pickup idling by the road's edge. She hadn't heard it start, hadn't seen headlights approach. It was just there, waiting. Inside, the cab smelled like dust and something sweet rotten, like meat forgotten in heat. The driver said little as the truck rattled down the empty highway, its single working headlight cutting a cone through the dark. Nora tried not to stare at him too long. He moved oddly, like each gesture had a delay, half a second off from natural rhythm. "Long way from home?" he asked finally. "Yeah, research trip." "Digging up bones?" She blinked. "Fossils, actually. I'm doing a paper on Triassic." "Bones are bones," he interrupted. Then after a pause, "You believe in stories, Miss Bones?" "Stories?" "Old ones. Ones about people who forget what they are." Something brushed the back window, a dragging scrape. She turned sharply, but saw only darkness outside. The driver didn't flinch. "What was that?" "Just the road asking who you are," he said. "Don't answer it." Ahead, a red glow rippled across the horizon. Firelight, maybe. As they drew closer, she saw a cluster of ruins at the base of a mesa, stone walls half collapsed, scorched black in places, like a small village that had burned long ago. The driver eased to a stop. "End of my road," he said. "Town's that way." He pointed across the plain, into shadow. "Wait," she said. "There's no—" But when she looked back, the cab was empty. The engine still idled, the keys in the ignition, the driver's door wide open. And in the sand outside, deep hoofprints, not footprints, leading away. Nora stumbled out, heart hammering. The air had gone cold, a strange animal smell riding the wind. She saw movement between the ruins, something hunched, moving too fast, then stopping upright. It looked at first human, then it didn't. The head flicked toward her, and in the dying starlight she saw the face of the man from the truck, only halfway changed. Skin stretched wrong over elongated bones. The eyes glowed dull amber. The jaw hung too far down, teeth too long. She ran. The ruins seemed endless, corridors of black rock narrowing around her. Faint whispering followed, words she couldn't understand. Once she thought she heard her own voice calling her name from behind a wall. At last she found an open stretch, a stone ring like an old ceremonial site. In its center was a pile of ash and bones arranged carefully, almost lovingly. Something moved again. This time, it stepped into the moonlight. It had the body of a coyote, but the face was still changing, shifting through forms. A man's, a woman's, then something eyeless and smooth. Its voice came from nowhere and everywhere. "I took his skin," it said softly. "I wear it better." Her throat closed in terror. "You walked my road," it said. "Now it walks through you." The thing lunged. The next hours blurred into nightmare. She ran blind through the desert, the creature's laughter chasing her in loops. Sometimes it sounded near, sometimes far, sometimes like it came from inside her skull. She stumbled into a ditch and fell hard, cutting her palm open on stone. When she lifted her hand, the blood shimmered black. Something whispered from the wind again. "Trade, trade, trade." Then, faint, a second voice. Human, scared. "Hello?" She turned and saw a beam of light, a flashlight. A Navajo man stood a few yards away, wrapped in a jacket and scarf, eyes hard with fear. "You shouldn't be here," he said. "Come on." He led her toward a trailer at the edge of the highway, where a small fire crackled outside. Two older women sat by it, wordless, watching her with the kind of expression that measured more than sight. "She saw it," the man said to them in Diné. One woman answered, voice low and rhythmic, and began sprinkling white ash into the fire. A smell like burning cedar filled the air. "What was that thing?" Nora whispered. The man didn't answer at first. "It's what happens when you use names that aren't yours, when you wear something that doesn't belong. Our elders call them Yenaldlooshi." He looked her straight in the eye. "You picked something up, didn't you?" She realized she still held a small object, the driver's hat. She didn't remember picking it up. Its fabric twitched faintly in her hand like something alive inside. The older woman took it from her, muttered something, and threw it into the fire. It screamed, not the hat. Something threw it. The flames turned blue. Before dawn, the man took her back to the road where her Jeep still waited, hood popped, engine cold. He told her not to look in the rearview mirror until she reached town. When she asked why, he said, "Because it likes faces." She drove fast, eyes fixed on the endless gray horizon. The desert began to warm, color returning with the sun. She promised herself she'd leave, drive straight through to Flagstaff, catch the next flight home. But 20 minutes later, she saw another vehicle parked on the shoulder, a black pickup, ancient, rust-bitten. A man in a flannel shirt stood beside it, waving her down. "Need a ride?" he called. As she passed, she caught a glimpse in the mirror. The man's face was her own. Recovered 3 days later from abandoned Jeep, Route 191. Audio transcript, file N4722. My name is Nora Whitfield. I don't know what day it is. There's something wrong with my skin. It doesn't feel like mine anymore. I hear footsteps at night walking in circles around me. Sometimes I catch myself humming, and it's not my voice. I just want to go home, if I can remember where that is.